Okay, going through my Facebook, I came across this article. And the title or the headline of the article was Man Admits to Raping Girl, Judge Frees Him Because of Child's Mistake. What kind of a mistake could a child have made because they got raped? Let's read. Okay, this is from the website taphaps.com. This was posted on June 3rd, 2025 by Carrie Dominic. After luring a little girl into his home and sexually assaulting her, a man confessed to his sickening crimes in court. However, instead of throwing the book at him, the judge decided to only give him probation, all because of what he blamed the child for doing. Let's continue. Under this picture, it says despite confessing to raping and sodomizing an 11-year-old girl, Joseph Robert Neely walked free from the courtroom after blaming the victim. After scouring the dating app Meet Me, 22-year-old Joseph Robert Neely began chatting with an 11-year-old girl. Now, I know a lot of people are just going off screaming about the guy, which I think there are certain telltale signs. You can tell when a girl is really just a child. You can tell. Not by looks, but by the way they act. When I was 11, people swore up and down I was 21 years old. So looks can be deceiving, especially if the child is wearing a whole thick bunch of makeup like the tutorials on YouTube. It completely changes what a woman actually looks like. Everything from the color of her skin to the shape of her nose to where her cheekbones are. They have learned all these magical makeup techniques. So while, I understand this is a child, maybe it didn't look like a child, but hearing her talk, was she talking like a grown up? Or did he just like what he saw and didn't care? And what the hell is an 11-year-old girl doing on a dating app? Now, when you fill out these dating apps, you have to put all your information in. What information did she put in that app that allowed her to meet guys? Bitch at me all you want. There is no way she put on a date app she was 11 years old. Okay? Eventually, their conversations became romantic in nature, and the girl agreed to meet up with Melee at his home. Kids are warned about doing this all the time, and they feel like they're grown up, they can do what they want. I still say the way a child talks and even the way they act, there's something that tells you they're only 11. I don't understand this unless he just completely overlooked the warning signs because he wanted to get laid. Seizing the opportunity, he drove the preteen to his apartment in Springfield, Missouri, where the girl says she accidentally fell asleep. Now, did she accidentally fall asleep? Did he put something in her drink? Was she high before he even picked her up? Did she not fall asleep and just have regrets now? When she awoke, her worst fear was confirmed. In the era of innovation, children are using the latest tech devices at an earlier age. No matter what precautions you put on a kid's phone, they or other kids figure out a way to get them off because they don't like being told what to do. They don't like being told they can't do something. And if they or their friends can't figure out how to get that off the phone, they'll use somebody else's phone who doesn't have the precautions on it to protect the kid. They go around whatever precautions or roadblocks are put up to protect them when they want to use an app. While this allows them to quickly and efficiently connect with family and friends, it also provides a doorway for predators to come in contact with children they would have otherwise never crossed paths. Okay, already the author of this article is biased. The only way the girl could have made a profile on that app is lying about her age. I don't believe an app would allow a kid to put down their actual age of 11. Unfortunately, this is exactly how Melee preyed upon the victim. Now, again, I still say there is a way you can just look and tell by their mannerisms, by the way they speak and whatever, they're little kids. How this guy didn't figure it out, he much as just saw a body he liked and wanted to fuck it, and that was it. Joseph Robert Melee was charged with first degree statutory rape, first degree sodomy, and kidnapping. I don't understand kidnapping because she went with him willingly. But again, something had to have clicked his radar that something wasn't right here. There had to have been something. HuffPost reports that the girl felt strange when she woke up at Melee's apartment, feeling like something sexual had happened to her. How would she know something sexual happened to her? She's only 11. The feeling strange, like something happened that shouldn't have happened, yeah. But sexual? I think that's the author of this article playing with words. How does an 11-year-old know what sex feels like? A few weeks later, she told investigators that Melee had sex with her, which the authorities confirmed through a DNA sample in the child's underwear. Okay, so did she report this right away? Or was it reported a few weeks later? And if it was reported a few weeks later, how come her underwear was never washed? She saved it like Monica Lewinsky. Disturbingly, the girl also tested positive for chlamydia, a sexually transmitted disease. Okay, did Melee have chlamydia? If he didn't, then she's been sexually active with other people than just him. After pleading guilty to first degree sodomy, rape, to sodomy, rape, first degree statutory sodomy, and child kidnapping, Melee should have spent years in prison, according to Fox News. However, the admitted child rapist won't even see the inside of a prison cell thanks to the incredible deal he received. The caption under this picture: Joseph Robert Melee blamed the 11-year-old girl for catfishing him online and convincing him she was 18. Well, if she did that, there needs to be crimes against catfishing, and if there are, she needs to suffer the consequences. I don't want to hear, well, she was raped. She did all this willingly. She made all these conscious decisions. It doesn't take away from the fact he should have known somehow this was not an 18-year-old kid. But again, catfishing people have duped a lot of people. And he did plead guilty. Now, I wonder if it says anywhere in this article, did he have any remorse over what happened? For pleading guilty to rape and kidnapping, Melee's charges were reduced to just one count of third-degree child molestation, which is a C-class felony, a Class C felony. Despite his charges being drastically reduced, Melee still faced 3 to 10 years in prison along with a $10,000 fine. However, he was given only 5 years of supervised probation after the judge heard his disturbing excuse. Again, that's the author of this article playing with words. His disturbing excuses, he didn't know. Well, I think somehow he should have known. But how was she on that app? She led him to believe she was 18. I'm not even hearing how old this Melee guy is. Melee told Judge Calvin Holden that he believed the 11-year-old girl was actually 18. Additionally, he blamed, and the author of this article put the word blamed in a different color of writing to emphasize her feelings about this. When you do these articles, you're not supposed to have feelings, you're just supposed to report the facts. He blamed his child victim for the rape, claiming he was essentially catfished by the girl after she told him online that she was older and her profile listed her as being 18. So he was, in fact, catfished. But I still don't understand how nothing clicked on his radar that this was a little kid. Either he didn't care or the girl's an extremely good actress. Or she could have been involved with men and boys for a while and doesn't seem like a child. I don't know, I'm just saying. He felt horrible about the entire incident, his attorney Scott Pearson said. He's going to be required to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. It's a tough case. Neither side is really going to get justice here. Nope, the girl is going to get justice. The girl is going to go on with her life. People are going to pass this off as her just being a kid, and he took advantage of her. What if he really honestly couldn't tell? Just what if? There have been plenty of people who have catfished other people. This should be a crime, and the little girl should be made to pay a penalty for it. Not her parents, her. That $10,000 fine should be attached to her social security number. So whenever she comes into any kind of money, she pays that fine. Kids today think they're grown ups and they can do whatever they want. Again, I still feel like this guy should have known somehow. But what if he truly didn't know? I guarantee you, when he went to pick her up, she wasn't dressed like an 11-year-old. But when she went to court, she was probably wearing ponytails. The caption under this picture: Joseph Robert Melee was given 5 years of supervised probation. The prosecution later confirmed that it was absolutely impossible that Melee believed the girl was 18 years old, as she was identifiably much younger from her physical features alone. Well, again, there are a lot of 18-year-olds that look younger. There are a lot of 20-year-olds that look younger. And if she had a crap load of makeup on, dressed in a way an 11-year-old shouldn't be, maybe he didn't pick up on it. And he should have. With all the stuff that is still going on with the Me Too movement, guys need to be extra careful. Okay, and with the prosecution saying this, that's probably because the prosecution saw her dressed like a little girl. And again, we still don't know how old Joseph Melee is. What if he's 19, 20, 21? He may not have been able to tell the difference. Who knows? But she is definitely guilty of catfishing. She is definitely guilty of leading him on and telling him she was 18 when she was not. His life is now ruined because of what she did. Her life is not ruined. She will go on and be portrayed as a victim for the rest of her life. Every time he goes for a job, they'll see he's a sex offender and that he raped an 11-year-old. Greene County Senior Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Elizabeth Fax believes that it was willful ignorance that led him to go ahead with the sexual assault. Okay, well, again, did she go and tell anyone when this first happened? Because what if she was drugged? What if she was on drugs ahead of time? And considering the assistant prosecuting attorney is a woman, she's going to have bias too. I think men might have bias too. I don't know how there really is a fair way to do this. I think dating apps make it easier to get into these types of situations, to be sure, she told HuffPost. But to actually see her in person, he knew and just decided to go along with it anyway. Again, I would like to see what she looked like on the dating app and what she looked like when he picked her up. And I would also like to know his age. She added, it's just really hard for people to wrap their minds around the fact that these are children. They might wear makeup and be on dating apps and try to hook up with older men, but at the end of the day, these are children. Yes, but if the men honestly cannot tell, how do you not get the girls for doing it too? I'm telling you, when I was 11, people swore I was 21 years old. No makeup. Yes, I was wearing adult clothes, but I was bigger than the normal kids, not only with weight, but with height. I reached my original height between 9 and 10 years old. I'm 5'7". And I did have big boobs from the age of 8 years old. To the point where my mother started asking her female friends, should I make her wear a bra? And I remember one of her friends named Carol said, no, that's baby fat. But if you looked at me, you wouldn't be able to tell. So maybe he honestly didn't know. But now his life is ruined because of what this kid did. Even with the plea deal, prosecutors recommended that Melee serve at least 120 days in a sex offender treatment program and up to 7 years in prison for his crimes. However, Judge Holden only gave him probation, allowing him to literally get away with the rape of a vulnerable child. Again, that is this reporter sticking her own fucking feelings into this. Rulings like this send a strong message to rapists that they can get away with it. Well, it also sends a strong message to kids they can still get away with doing this. The caption under this picture, the ruling sends a message to child rapists that they won't be punished for their crimes. It also sends a message to these kids they're not going to get punished for the shit they've done. Everything she did led up to what happened. If she wasn't on that app in the first place, there was no way this could have happened to her. And I would like to go into her dating profile to find out how many other men she met up with. Melee should have ended up in prison, but he walked out of the courtroom a free man. Disturbingly, he has shown no remorse, choosing to blame this 11-year-old victim for tricking him into having sex with her instead of taking responsibility for his actions and sick desires. Again, I want to see what this kid looked like when he picked her up. And no, I'm not blaming just the victim. No, 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 no. I still say there should have been something in her mannerisms and stuff that would have sent off a flashing light bulb in his head. Warning, warning, warning. But she had a dating profile and said she was 18. I want to see those pictures. I want to see conversations she had with other men. I want to see if she met up with other men. Because again, how does an 11-year-old know what sex actually feels like? She could feel something was wrong, but how does she know that it was sex? And I haven't heard Melee say she was awake when he did the stuff he did. Melee's paltry sentence tells Melee's paltry sentence tells child predators that they can groom, kidnap, and rape children as long as they claim that the child was a willing participant and that they thought the child was of age. No, he was led to believe this child was of age. It's not that he put the thought in his own head. He was on a dating app and he assumed if she was on a dating app, she couldn't be a kid. That's why the leniency. Should he be put on the sex offender registry? I don't think so. Because he was led into believing this. And there are a lot of 18-year-olds who do seem younger than what they are. Just watch him and see if he does it again. or tries to do it again. If he tries to do it again, then you get him and send him to prison for the rest of his life. These dating apps should require verification of your age. Now, let's say this one did, and you had to put in your credit card information. Where did the 11-year-old get the credit card information to verify she was 18? I don't know. I would also like to know what verification steps this dating app has to prove somebody is who they are. We can only assume that we will see him in the news again, as there was certainly no punishment to deter his deprived behavior. Again, this reporter is sticking her feelings into the shit, and you're not supposed to do that. Yes, definitely watch him. Put something in his phone that's like an ankle monitor, and have this thing say, well, he hasn't used the phone in 3 days and that's unusual. Go to him and find out, did you break your phone? Did you buy a new phone? You buy a new phone, you have to have this app put in as well. Have something attached to his identification or credit card that says if he goes and buys a new phone, this tracker has to be on it. And that's all there is to the story. It's a woman reporter, so of course she's going to be biased. Again, I'm not saying the guy is 100% right. No. But little girls throughout history have tried to look older than what they are for guys they have crushes on. They used to stick socks in their chest to make it look like they had bigger boobs. You see so many TV shows and movies where the girls are screaming they're adults because there's a guy they want. You got to stop these kids as well. It's not just enough to stop the guys. Her just being on a dating app and meeting men, she could be dead right now. Oh, well, her punishment was being raped. How do you know that she was raped? She says she accidentally fell asleep. Did she actually fall asleep? I didn't hear anything that he said she was sleeping. Now, if she did fall asleep, he shouldn't have touched her at all. I don't care if she was 90 fucking years old. You have to get consent. And I don't want to hear, well, 11-year-olds can't give consent to that. No, they can't. But she told him she was 18 and she was on a dating app, which people would assume you're on a dating app, you're of age. Now, the app was called Meet Me, right? Yeah, okay. What are Meet Me's ver- requirements? Meet Me's verification requirements include a face scan. Users must complete a face scan upon logging in to verify their account. This is mandatory. This is a mandatory step. Here, let's share this now. How do you do this? Share screen. Okay. So every time she logs into her account, or even just to set up the account, she had to do a face scan. And apparently, the program didn't even know she was 11. Photo verification. Users can opt for an optional photo verification, which adds a checkmark badge to their profile to indicate they are the person in the profile photo. She probably did that. Biometric data. MeetMe may use biometric data for verification, and users will be prompted to read and accept the biometric terms and conditions before proceeding. So she checked that off. Profile photo. A profile photo where the user is in the main focus is required for photo verification. Users must ensure their whole face is in the frame of the photo. I'm sure she did that. Troubleshooting. Users should follow specific tips for photo verification, such as ensuring no obstructions between the camera and their face. For more detailed information on verification, users can refer to the MeetMe support articles or contact their support team. MeetMe verification. How do I verify my account? Let's see. If you are prompted to verify, okay, if you are prompted to verify your account upon login, follow all on screen instructions to complete a face scan. Upon a successful face scan, your account will be verified. So she did that in order to have a verified account to actually go and meet guys. If you are attempting to add a verified checkmark icon to your account, please see the article How Do I Get a Verification Checkmark for further information. How do I get a checkmark? To complete a photo verification and receive the verification checkmark, you must first have a profile photo where you are the main focus of the photo. Then, on the MeetMe app, click on the icon in the top left corner and then select Verify Profile. Follow all on screen instructions to complete a face scan. Note that the person completing the scan must be the person in the profile photo. Once this scan has been successfully completed, your account will receive a blue check mark. Note that changing the profile photo will remove the check mark, and the verification will need to be completed again to verify the new photo. Did she take all these steps? Does MeetMe collect biometric data for verification? At times, it may be necessary to use biometric data to complete a verification. If this is the case, you will be prompted to read and accept the biometric terms and conditions before proceeding with the process. She obviously checked off things verifying who she was, what she was. A copy of the biometric terms and conditions will be sent to your account following the process of your reference. So, here we go. She went through all of the processes to get on that dating app, and she shouldn't have to pay for falsifying stuff. Oh, she's just a kid. Well, the kid knew how to sneak around to get into a grown man's car and go to his apartment. And nowadays, 11-year-olds do know that's wrong. You can't just blame him. Yeah, he did something wrong. He did fuck her. And his lawyer said he felt remorseful. He felt horrible about it. Okay. Did she go to court dressed like she was when she was on that profile? When she met up with the guy? No, I guarantee you she was dressed like a little kid. Possibly even like Shirley Temple. She is guilty of catfishing. She is guilty of falsifying shit. I didn't hear Melee say once she was asleep when they did anything. So was she awake and willing and then had regrets later on, like a lot of grown women do, and then pull sexual assault? The article didn't say she immediately reported it. She reported it weeks later. Why did she still have the underwear? Could this be kids trying to set stuff up so they can get money because they see all these grown women doing this stupid shit? Maybe she's done this before and nothing ever happened. And this time something did. I didn't hear anything about her being drugged. And yes, it is possible to start having sex with someone and they don't even realize it if they're in a deep enough sleep. Because how many people who live with someone or who are married don't even notice the person's doing anything to them to start things up while the person's sleeping? You can't just excuse her for being 11. She lied about her age. She went through the whole process, even getting her face or photo scanned to verify she was of age. Make an example out of her. There are plenty of examples of guys falling for this shit. Make an example out of the kids that do this shit. You have a sex offender's website, have an offender's website for this stuff so guys can see. Well, before I start talking to this girl, I see her picture. She looks really good. It's verified. She's 18. Let me check this website. Did she use her real name? A lot of dating apps require payment. How did she pay for it? I want to see that. Do you have to pay for Meet Me? Do you have to pay for Meet Me dating app? You do not have to pay. You do not have to pay for the Meet Me dating app to use its basic features. The app offers a free version that allows users to create profiles, view profiles, and engage in messaging. However, there are also paid premium features available, such as advanced search filters and virtual gifts, which can be purchased for additional benefits. So, was she using the free version? Or was she using the premium features, which would require her to put up a payment? This reporter left a ton of stuff out. because she's biased. Let's see, Joseph. Okay, now apparently this happened in 2019. And this is from People magazine. Let's share this page and see if they give any more information. Missouri man who girl, where'd the title go? Sentenced to probation. Okay, he's 22 years old. That report didn't say that. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. From what she said on her dating app, that's only a 4-year difference. What was in her profile? Did she say she was in college? Did she say she had a job? What did she put in that file? Uh, on Friday, a judge spared a 22-year-old Missouri man from a 4-month prison stint, sentencing him to instead 5 years. Oh, would you stop with the ads? 5 years supervised probation for molesting an 11-year-old girl he met through a dating app. People confirms that Melee, 22, appeared in a Greene County court Friday where he pled guilty to a single count of third-degree child molestation. In exchange for Melee's admission of guilt to the 2017 crime, so 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. She is now 19 years old. How many other guys might she have done this to? It could be possible she was just thinking, oh, I'll have a boyfriend and he'll buy me stuff, not realizing what else might be expected of her, like in most relationships. 2017 crime. The original charges of kidnapping, statutory sodomy, and statutory rape were dismissed by prosecutors. So, what did that? The person who wrote the last article we saw, did she lie? Because an assistant prosecutor was involved in this, a female, and this wasn't mentioned. So the prosecutors did this. Now, if the prosecutors did this, maybe they actually thought they might lose the case if they didn't get a plea deal because of all the catfishing she actually did. And saying you're somebody when you're not is illegal. Prosecutors' deal with Melee was agreed upon in March. Melee of Russellville will be required to register as a sex offender. According to Melee's attorney Scott Pearson, Judge Calvin Holden opted to sentence Melee to probation instead of the state recommended prison term of 120 days. In Missouri, third degree child molestation is punishable by up to 3 to 10 years behind bars. The more I'm reading about this, the more I'm thinking the guy just thought she really was 18. And, they say don't blame the victim. Why did she go to his apartment? It could be because she thought she gets a boyfriend and they buy stuff. Prosecutors state the victim and the victim's family were not opposed to probation here. Pearson tells People they did not want the book thrown at him. Of course, because their daughter fucking lied. And they probably know she wasn't asleep when she did it. And they probably know at this point, because I'm telling you, if this was my daughter, I don't care if I'd go to jail. I'd rip the phone out of her fucking hands and go through it. And there were probably dozens of messages with dozens of guys she was pulling the same shit on. According to the Springfield News leader, Melee met the victim through Meet Me, a dating app. The girl was using her mother's phone when she started exchanging messages with Melee, eventually providing him with her home address. So I said this in the beginning of this video. You try to stop kids from what they want to do, they might take somebody else's phone and do it. The paper reports that Melee went to the girl's house in July 2017, picked her up, and drove her to an apartment in Springfield. Why would an 11-year-old give out her address for this? The more I'm reading this, the more I really believe he thought she was 18. But there's still the thing of 11-year-olds act a certain way. Was she not acting like an 11-year-old? Or did he just figure, fuck it, she's 18, she's still young? The girl was reported missing, and authorities began searching for her in the nearby woods. Again, that was not in the first article either. The victim later returned home, revealing she had fallen asleep while at the apartment, waking up feeling as though she had been violated. That wasn't said in the other article either. Other words were used, even though it was a bad situation, to make it seem worse. Way worse. So she felt strange. According to the paper, semen was discovered in the girl's underwear. Now, according to the last article, that was weeks later. Who saved the underwear? Who pulled a Monica Lewinsky? Oh. At the time of his arrest, Melee told police he believed the victim was 18 based on the age that was listed on her Meet Me profile. Now, he's 22. Um, let's see. When this happened, and this happened in 2017. 18, 20, 19, 20, 20, 21, 24, 25. He is now 30 years old. How has his life been because of what this kid did? At the time of his arrest, Melee told police he believed the victim was 18 based on the age that was listed on her Meet Me profile. Pearson said the state had no evidence to suggest that his client ever kidnapped the victim. He also says Melee had no idea how young she was. She did all that catfishing. Nothing again was said about her being asleep. She said that. Well, she's already proven herself not to be a good witness to her own defense because look at the dating profile. I wonder how many other pictures she had on there. Were they all just her face pictures? Or did she have pictures where she was dressed provocatively? Kids, especially girls, want to be grown up so fast. She did catfish him. I still don't understand why there wasn't anything to tell him, something's a little off here. But why didn't prosecutors go for the full thing? Because I think they thought with everything the girl had done, maybe they know the girl did this shit before and she wouldn't make a good witness and the charges wouldn't stick and they wanted something to stick. Even her parents didn't want the book thrown at this guy. They saw what their daughter did. Kudos to them. They didn't want to take away a man's life, although in essence they have. Anytime he goes to a job, he's got to say he's on the sex registry. And a job will look it up, and what will they see? Chances are they're going to see rape. And they're going to have to click on that to see what the whole story was. And I don't know if a lot of employers will do that. So he might not be able to get a really good job because of what this kid did. And what's the punishment for this kid? Oh, she was raped? What if she wasn't raped? What if she was willing to do it and then had regrets? It's still not right, but everything she did, she knew was wrong. That's why no one knew about it. Guys have to be extremely, extremely careful. I have a son. He should be careful. Even though he has a girlfriend, they seem to be in a good, solid relationship. If anything happens, he needs to be careful on these dating apps. Because what if something happens like this to him? And with the way that first article made it out, who knows what could have been done to this guy? The harassment, he could have gotten bet up by anyone. And what if he was put in prison for child rape? What could have happened to him? Oh, well, she's a kid. She didn't think about the consequences. She thought enough about the consequences to use her mother's phone and hide what she was doing. That means she knew what she was doing was wrong. Make an example out of her. Come up with laws that will punish the kids as well. Melee should not be made to pay that $10,000 fine. Neither should her parents. Attach it to her social security number. This way, she ever wins the lottery, she ever gets an inheritance, she gets a job, her paycheck, her money should be docked for that $10,000 plus court fees. And she should be made to pay her parents back if they had any court fees. Because she shouldn't have been doing this shit in the first place. Even put it on her social security number that if she gets welfare, dock her welfare. That guy's life is ruined because of this, because of what she did, because of the choices she made, because of what she wanted to do. Even though I still feel there should have been something that clicked in his head, but I'm a woman thinking of a little 11-year-old girl like playing dress up. That might not be how she was acting. This was a bad, bad case all the way around.